Okay, everybody. So I'm here and I have my red lipstick on. I don't know about y'all, but it is a brilliant, beautiful day here today. And I want to talk all about Pinterest. Now, okay, so I don't know if any of y'all know, but Hometalk has an amazing, incredible Pinterest program where they pay you to pin. And so, yes, you can sell online product. Okay, we'll address that. There's an amazing way that you can make your pins shoppable, which we can talk about that in just a little bit. But Hometalk has an incredible program where they pay you to pin. And in order to qualify for the program, and Kara can put the link on here if any of y'all are interested in signing up for this Pinterest program. I'm going to tell you way more about it and how you can make money. And I've already started doing it and seeing really, really good results for it. And I'm going to tell you some really good tips and ideas on how that you can use it to make the most amount of money. But before you can participate in this program, the requirement is that you have 500,000 monthly impressions over there on Pinterest. And so really this goal today and what I want to do is to, all of these tips that I'm doing, if you follow everything that I'm doing, there's no guarantees, of course, with anything, but I cannot see why you would not be able to get to 500,000 at least, at the very least. So let's start with, let me tell you a little bit about me in case you're brand new here. My name is Kari Ann Wood, and I am a Hometalk ambassador. I also write a blog called This Wood Farms, and I've written the blog for, oh gosh, over 7 years now. And I am all about driving traffic to my blog and making money off my blog. And I love, love, love really just sharing information with people. And I am a resource and I cannot tell you, thank you so much for all of the sweet emails. Hi, Amy. And Amy is absolutely amazing too. So she's here to help with any questions as well. But I just want to say thank you for all of the sweet emails that myself and Kara have been getting, just letting us know how successful these webinars are for y'all. We actually got an email yesterday from a wonderful person who had attended our webinar on how to make money, and we talked about the Hometalk branded content program and the Hometalk blogger traffic program, and she used the tips that I told her for the blogger traffic program on her feature, and she got 130 affiliate sales. Okay, wait, I'm sorry. Let's just press pause on that. Let's just press pause. So I talked about the Hometalk branded content program and the Hometalk blogger traffic program, which there are two different ones. If you have any questions, Kara can put the links here to have you learn more about them. But with the blogger traffic program, you basically do 3 blog posts on Hometalk DIY. They have to be a project on Hometalk, and then you get featured in their newsletter. Well, I showed you how to monetize that feature. And so this wonderful, wonderful blogger sent me an email saying she followed every tip that I listed. So if you guys need any tips, you can go back and watch that webinar, or you can always email me directly for tips. But she followed the tips that we did, that we talked about, and she got 130 affiliate sales. 130 affiliate sales. So Kara, I don't know if you want to hop on there and just put the link where people could find the past webinars and how they can watch them. But 100, I'm not sure what's going on with that piece of hair right there, but 130 affiliate sales. Y'all, the money that we can make together is absolutely incredible. And so the goal of these webinars, I don't know about y'all, but I've watched a zillion of these webinars in the past couple of months, and sometimes there are not actionable things that you can do. Well, my goal specifically with these webinars is to give you actionable tips that you can do that you can increase your, as we're going to talk about today, how you increase your traffic from Pinterest, how you increase your impressions over on Pinterest, and how you can really maximize Pinterest and drive more traffic to your blog, which then in turn makes more ad revenue. And we're also going to talk about other ways that you can make money off of Pinterest as well. So are y'all ready to get started? Oh, good. Me too. Me too. So the first thing that I want to talk about before we get into the 5 tips and how to make money, is that Pinterest has changed. And this is, if you take nothing away from this webinar, you have to understand that Pinterest as we knew it before and Pinterest now, it's completely, totally different. Pinterest has gone from really a place where people went and, you know, you followed kind of specific people over there and everything they pinned, you saw. In reality, what has happened now is Pinterest is a search engine. So we want to look at Pinterest through the same eyes that we look at Google and SEO. Because I don't know about y'all, but I have been really upping my SEO game on my blog, specifically right now. And I did want to share, I mean, people ask me SEO tips all the time, and we might do a webinar on SEO. But if you guys are looking for a great free tool to use your SEO, we could use it for Pinterest as well, I want to give you a tip. It's Uber Suggest. You like Uber, like the car, and then Suggest. And it's a great way because none of these pins, your blog posts, it all starts with keywords. So sometimes I'll ask bloggers, like, well, how's your SEO going? Or how's your blog doing with SEO? And they'll say, well, I've got my Yoast going and I have up my green light on Yoast. Well, that's amazing and that's wonderful. And like, I give you full props for having a green light on Yoast. But the challenge is if you don't have the right keywords, then really you are just spinning your wheels. The key is finding the keywords over on Uber Suggest, or another one is SEMrush, which is another SEO tool, but that's a little bit more expensive. But use an SEO tool. You can use Google itself to help with these keywords. Okay, so Pinterest it's definitely not really about followers anymore. You've been using Uber Suggest. Yes. Okay, Jennifer, we talked about it, and Uber Suggest is a great, it's a great tool. Now, Pinterest is actually trying to help you out in the SEO department. And so Pinterest sends you periodically what is trending on Pinterest. Now, I got those emails and I kind of blew off the email. I was like, oh, Pinterest is sending me another email. And so the next email that comes in from Pinterest, I want you to hold on to it because we're about to talk about what you do with that email to grow your traffic on Pinterest, okay? So everything I'm going to talk about today is what I specifically am doing on Pinterest because right now, let's just be straight, y'all. There are a lot of people telling you a lot of things. A lot of people telling you a lot of things on Pinterest. They'll say, don't do this or do this or do this. And I'm only here today to tell you what has worked for me. So on Pinterest right now, I have 7.2 million impressions per month. And I got there when I first took over, really applying myself on Pinterest. I had 1.2 million. And that was about 5 months ago. I had 1.2 million impressions a month, which sounds great and sounds good, but really, the more impressions you can have on Pinterest, the better. And so I applied myself and I used the exact tips that I'm going to talk about with you today. And I grew in 5 months from 1.2 to 7.2. And so the goal here, remember, is we want to get on this Pinterest program with Hometalk. And so our goal is 500,000 impressions. So if I gained 5 million in 5 months, what's that, $1 million a month? If I gained that much in 5 months, then you for sure, y'all, the sky is the limit for you all. So, but these are my tips that I do for myself. So I want to put that disclaimer in there because there are so many different strategies on Pinterest. And if you're doing something and it's working for you, I encourage you to keep doing that. Maybe even you could share it with us in the comments and let us know. But I'm just telling you what these are the tips that I'm doing that are working for me. So I say all that because there's so much information out there about Pinterest. You're totally too, so zero, nothing. All right, I love it. Well, we have some people on here that I know have been doing Pinterest for a while, and kudos to you. And we have some newbies as well. So we're all going to learn together. So, okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is getting your pins seen on Pinterest. So I know that is like, you're like, hello, Captain Obvious, Corey. Trendspinterest.com, baby. Wait, Mara, you're taking my thunder. Okay, so Mara just gave us a great tip. trends.pinterest.com. It is your new best friend, and it is you totally but thank you for that. You actually what Mara is saying is Pinterest actually gives you a whole host of information that you can use to actually grow your Pinterest, because as far as Pinterest is concerned, the more you grow your Pinterest, the more helpful that the more they want to be more helpful so you can grow your Pinterest. So Maura actually just put a brilliant thing up here, trends.pinterest.com. What we are trying to do with this first tip is we want our pins to be seen. And what better way to have our pins discovered than, number one, have what people are already currently searching for on Pinterest, which is where trends.pinterest.com comes in. And secondly, we want also not only just trends, but we also want some of our most popular content that we have in our analytics on Pinterest. We also want our boards to be, oh, Maura, can you make it to all people? Or Kara, can you copy her comment and make it so everyone can see? So that way everybody will have the link so they'll know what we're talking about. So the first thing I want you to do is, there's many ways to SEO on Pinterest. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to go to your actual, like what describes your channel. So underneath your channel, there was a Pinterest box where you probably wrote centuries ago some description about yourself and your blog and your topics that you're posting about on Pinterest. Okay, I want you to use this trends.pinterest.com or also SEO, Uber Suggest, or anything that, and also to the email that Pinterest sends you out. Use all of those to find what people are searching for in Pinterest, and I want you to add those to your description of your board. Okay, so Captain Obvious, but we are going to make ourselves as searchable as possible. So I'm sure you're going to be surprised at this, but when I first signed up with Pinterest, I was super clever, and I'm putting air quotes around that, super clever, and I put all kinds of rando things about myself. I don't even know, walking with nights in the rain and sweet tea with lime and all this other foolishness. And so what you want to do is you want to go in now and you want to describe to people who might want to subscribe to your channel or people who are searching for you what your channel is about. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to take that same principle and I want you to go into your boards. And I want you to do a good, hard look at your boards. You want to niche down on those boards as much as possible. The more boards that you have to put your content in, the better off we all are, especially if it's a very specific board. So let's say, for example, I'll give you a perfect example. So I've just done some recent research, and one of the things that is trending over there on Pinterest right now is composting. So I am about to do an entire post on my blog about composting, and I have a feeling composting is trending right now because, number one, it's gardening season, and number two, we're all at home and everyone's starting gardens and doing all of that. So composting your old banana peels into amazing new fresh fertilizer for your yard is super popular. So I know that. So I'm actually creating, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to create a Pinterest board about composting. I'm going to populate it with a few pins, and then I'm going to pin my own pins from my post onto that board. Because here's the thing, when people are searching for things, not only on Pinterest, but on Google, think of your own self. The last time you searched for something, did you notice that all of these Pinterest boards came up? And not just Pinterest pins, but Pinterest boards as well. The reason for that is because those Pinterest boards are getting pulled into Google search traffic. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been looking for something and Pinterest is popping up as one of my top searching things. So we want to be as discoverable by Google and by Pinterest as possible. Do your pins have to go back to blog, or you can have your pins go to your sales website 100%, which Kayla just asked an amazing question. And this is what I was going to tell you what I did with that Pinterest email that came to me. And Kayla, this is a great tip. You can have those pins redirect to anywhere. I actually have, a great way to make money, which I was going to talk about this, but we might as well introduce it now. My Shop My House. I have pins that are just Shop My House pins. So what I did is I made a graphic for Shop My House, and I have those pins go out into the universe. And then I actually have those pins tied back they go directly to the Shop My House page on my blog. So all of my affiliate links are right there, which is you're a click away. So I have this beautiful picture of one of the rooms in my house, and I'm like, hey, you want to buy this rug? And it sends them back to my Shop My House page. I also have a Shop My Favorites page on my blog, and that Shop My Favorites, I create a pin for Shop My Favorites, and then that links back to all of my favorite things over there on my blog. You can also do a pin for your email if you wanted to. If you want to drive more traffic that way, you could create a pin that just talks about your mostly personal interest. You can, well, hold on one second, I'll answer that in just one question. But let me just get back to this real fast. You can create, I actually did just some pins recently and directed them to my YouTube channel. So think outside the box when it comes to pins. Kayla is brilliant in that she said, can I direct it to my page? You can direct a pin anywhere you want it to go. You just have to go to Pinterest, click the little plus button, upload a graphic, and you can have it literally direct to anywhere you want. And so I have it direct to, here's just a few of the places. I have it direct to Shop My House. I have it direct to Shop My Favorites. I have it direct to my email sign up. I have it direct to my YouTube channel. So is this an affiliate for Amazon? I think with Pinterest, you cannot use Amazon links. I'm not 100% sure on that. I use reward style. So I set all my stuff up through reward style. I don't really use Amazon because I don't make as much money, and Amazon just way lowered their affiliates and prices. And so for me, it's just not a good ROI on my time that I'm spending. So all of mine are done through a company called Reward Style. I'm not sure about, you can actually take the reward style links and you can make your pin actually shoppable. There's a way, I don't know if y'all have ever seen that on Pinterest before, but if you look at the pin in the top left-hand corner, there's a little tag. It looks like a price tag. You can click on that and make your pins shoppable and put actual affiliate links in there. Again, I don't believe you can put Amazon links in there, and I'm not sure about share a sale. I just do it for reward style. So that's definitely something to look at. Just make sure you're compliant, because you don't want to get kicked off Pinterest for using Amazon or something that you're not supposed to do. Okay, so real fast, let's get back to Laura. So Laura's question was, when she started Pinterest years ago, her boards were mostly personal interest. Okay, Laura, when I started Pinterest, I thought I was very, again, I'm putting air quotes here, very clever, and that I name my boards all sorts of random things. So like instead of window treatments, like right here, I name my board, Look Out That Window, because I thought it was funny, which so you want to go back. I went back and named my board, instead of Look Out That Window, I named it Window Treatments. I went back and named my, I think I called like Hang It Up or something, like for walls, I named it Artwork. Like, so you want to go back and you want to name your board something that people are searching for on Pinterest. And that was the first thing I did. In the descriptions of those boards, you want to make sure that you have everything SEO'd in those descriptions. You did silly, I had no idea what I was doing either. I thought it was so funny. Like, like Carian, less funny, more SEO. So 100% go back, board titles, board descriptions. You want all of that to be SEO friendly, whatever. And if you see a trend on Pinterest, create a new board for that. The more boards you have, the better. Because to me, that, like right now, Pinterest, now this might not hold true in the future, but right now, I do not have my blog name in my board names. I do have it in my description, of course, but I don't have it in my board names because it links back to my Pinterest, and my Pinterest is named after me. So it kind of, in a way, I have my blog name. But now here's something that I did that's very, very important. When I got that email from Pinterest, there was a trending topic on the email, and it was called handmade gifts. Okay, so the Pinterest email comes in. So remember I said to you, hold on to that Pinterest email, where this is about SEO. When that Pinterest email came to me, there were all the trending topics. Pinterest, thank you very much, kind of hand delivering them to me on a silver platter. I looked at that email and I noticed that it said handmade gifts. I'm like, I have quite a few posts about handmade gifts on my blog. So you know what I did? I searched handmade gifts in my URL, and then I made a pin, like a graphic. Oh yes, can everyone change, when you're commenting, change to all panelists and attendees so everybody can see. But I took and made a graphic for handmade gifts, and then I linked it back to my category URL. Does that make sense? I took my pin and I linked it back to my category for handmade gifts. So let me just say that one more time, because this is so important, because that pin is driving crazy amounts of traffic to my blog right now, because it was already trending on Pinterest. So a category URL, what I did was I went to my blog and I searched handmade gifts, okay? And then into that, when you search that on your blog in your search bar, a URL will pop up that Thistlewood Farms, I'm not sure of the exact / handmade gifts with some other numbers and letters. That is a category URL. I then created a graphic with different handmade gifts. I uploaded it to Pinterest and I made it link back to the category URL that was trending on Pinterest. So it literally went crazy, because when people clicked on that pin, all of these posts that I had on my blog, I think I have like maybe 7 or 8 posts on handmade gifts, and I watched that pin just skyrocket. I was like, oh my gosh. So my best advice is, if you get that that email from Pinterest and it's telling you what is trending over there, make a category URL, make a separate graphic, and get in on some of that trending action and send them back to your blog. Okay. So also, my last tip for SEO is you want to SEO your pins too. So I'm going to talk about scheduling and doing all that, but whenever I write a board, okay, so some of your boards are not related to your Pinterest at all. Should I start a new Pinterest account? I mean, that's completely up to you. You would be starting over if you started a new Pinterest account. I don't know what your I would almost take your personal account, and make it your business account, and then start a brand new one for your personal, if that's what you want to do. You can also create secret boards. Yeah, you can make those boards secret if you want to. You could just make those boards private. That's actually a great idea. And someone asked me too, would I want to, how much time do I spend on Pinterest? And I'm like, on Pinterest, I spend maybe max an hour a day, maybe 30 minutes a day. I don't spend a whole lot because I use Tailwind for scheduling everything, and I just keep all of those balls into the air. So, okay. So the other thing I do is when I put a pin, so I'm preparing my pin, I also SEO my pin. I go to Pinterest. So the other day, for example, yesterday's post was how to, what was my topic? It was how to update kitchen cabinets. Okay. So I go, before, when I'm writing the pin description, I go to the SEO on the top of the bar, and I say, like, where you can search in Pinterest, and I say, not SEO, sorry, where you can search in Pinterest, and I put in how to update cabinets. And Pinterest will give you all of these additional things that people are searching for. And I take those and I put all of those into my pin description. So I think it came up with, I know I did. I rocked the keyword. I was like, loading them up. So I had how to update Windows DIY, how to update kitchen cabinets DIY, how to update kitchen cabinets ideas, how to update kitchen cabinets. I can't even remember, but whatever Pinterest told me, I took all of those and I put those in my pin description. So when people were searching, that pin would pop up. So, okay, so those are my best SEO tips. If anybody has any questions about SEO, you can ask them here. But my next thing is, and this is, again, everything I'm telling you is pretty common knowledge. I'm just trying to give you a new take on some of it and a new spin. Yes, I do this in addition to a few sentences about my post. Yes. And actually what I do for my post is I have an SEO friendly description at the very, very top of my post. So when I was talking about kitchen cabinets, I had that at the very top of my post. That's typically, I just cut and paste that onto Pinterest because it's already SEO friendly. I don't subscribe to Ubersuggest. I just am very cautious because I think they give you maybe 8 free searches, and I just use my 8 free searches. And on days when I'm not doing pins, I go over there and research new posts. So I don't subscribe. I just keep using the free aspect of it. So, okay. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to make sure that we have created graphics for your pins. Now, this is a kind of controversial because everybody has their way of doing their own graphics. And if you are doing graphics and it's working for you, like, rock on. I'm just going to tell you how I do it. First of all, I try to pick ugly photographs because, like, so today I talked about how to, which is actually a fabulous post. Y'all should go check it out. But it's how to paint what were the keywords? How to paint a faux copper metal roof. And so I took that and I picked the ugly before picture. And this same holds true on Facebook too. The uglier the photos, sometimes the better you get. 8 free searches per 24 hours. So yeah, I just searched 8 times and kind of walk away because I don't know. I just pay for so many things. I'm like, I don't want to pay for one more thing. But I think it's only $29 a month if you subscribe. So the uglier the photos, y'all, the better they work really on Pinterest. And so today I used an ugly before picture, and then I used a picture of, and people work really well too. So I used a picture of my husband actually painting the roof. And so I take a picture, and then I use writing in the middle. I found if I add a color to one of the words, that works really well. I also feel like if you slant it kind of to one side, that works really well. I know there are tons of people out there that are offering Pinterest templates. I think actually Tailwind was offering some Pinterest templates, and different people are offering Pinterest templates. I have a bunch of I just use that same template over and over again. Sometimes also I'll take Jennifer, is yours frozen? Oh, I don't know. Are y'all screens frozen? Jennifer's saying that her screen is frozen. No. Okay, good. All right, I'll continue then. Okay, so I usually do it 650 wide because I'm sure and again, y'all, remember what I said at the beginning, I just do what works for me. So I do a very long, I just do 2 pictures and I make it 650 wide. And I do it 650 wide because that's what fits on my blog. 650 PX or whatever. Yeah, on PicMonkey. I make them on PicMonkey. PicMonkey also has some really fun Pinterest templates as well. But like I said, there are tons of people that have probably way better Pinterest templates than I use. And I make it long. So I make it 650 by, oh gosh, it's probably 1200 or something like that. The longer I find, the better. I actually did one the other day that had 3 pictures. It was called, I think the Pinterest term was wall of art. And I did 3. And Hometalk also has templates available, Amy. And Amy's also available to set up a call with any of y'all to talk about Pinterest and the Pinterest program. And Amy has tons of other Pinterest tips as well too, in addition to me. So I'm just a person that got on there and just figured out what worked for me on Pinterest. And so Amy is great. She's amazing. So thank y'all. There's my Pinterest right there. Ellen put it on there. So oh yes, and follow me over there on Pinterest. And we should actually all be following each other. That's actually a great idea. If anybody else wants to put their link to their Pinterest and we can follow each other on here, that'd be a great way to get some new followers. And also too, so real fast, back to those graphics for your pin. So I create a graphic for now some people create 4 graphics, some people create 3 graphics. My challenge is, and make sure when you put it that you, like Courtney, I'm the only one that can see that. You want to make sure it says all panelists and all attendees because everybody can't see it. So yeah, like Chloe did it right. And Amy will get you the Hometalk template. So you can email her after this and she has access to those Hometalk templates. Now, there's also a big controversy going on right now. Like, what about old pins? People say you need to create new. I personally did a little experiment. This is just me, myself. I went on there and some of my most popular pins. So my #1 most popular pin on Pinterest it's how to stuff a couch cushion. And I have the same pin, and that pin is gone completely viral and crazy and sends insane amount of traffic. So I thought, well, Pinterest is telling me I need to make new pins. So I went on there and I created new pins for that same post. And those pins did not really get picked up. Guess what got picked up? My same old pin. So I look at my pins kind of like balls in the air. If I have pins that are doing well, I keep babying them along and babying them along and trying to keep them up in the air and keep them going. Because to me, if I already have a pin, I don't want to go pin it again. I want to keep the good pin that already has lots of Pinterest juice on it. It's like, you want to think of it like that. So sometimes all pins are not created equal. So I could go back to my old post, let's stuff a couch cushion, and put a new graphic into circulation, which I've done that. But those are not really catching on. Now I'm trying to baby them along and trying to, it's kind of like, oh, you know, when you make bread and you feed a little starter and you keep the starter going, Sometimes some of my pins are like that. I keep babying them and babying them. Sometimes the more you see, if you see a pin start catching traction and you baby it along and baby it along, it can really grow. So you want to keep your eye out for that when you're doing that. So I create graphics for my pins. I create one, maybe two graphics. Sometimes I'll do a very large, big photo and then writing underneath. But again, this is what works for me. There are tons and tons of graphics. Like I keep repinning it to certain boards. Like, so I'll add it back into Tailwind again. I keep going and checking my analytics and seeing my best pins, and I keep those into rotation. So, okay, which leads us to tip number 3, which is look at your analytics. Like your analytics, y'all, that is your best friend. There is so much content over there on your analytics. Like you will not believe the amount of content. So it's in the top left-hand side. It says analytics, and you can go into your Pinterest analytics and look at that. And when you look at the Pinterest analytics, it tells you a whole bunch of things. First of all, it'll tell you what your top pins are, and it sorts out your pins for you by, oh my gosh, it tells you by pin clicks, it tells you by impressions. It has a bunch of different metrics for your top pins. I always look at my pins through the viewpoint of what is clickable, like what is sending traffic back to my blog, because of course, that's what I want. I want traffic back to my blog from Pinterest. That's the ultimate goal here. Also, too, it also tells you what your top boards are. You can find that information over there. So you want to do a deep dive into your Pinterest analytics, because there are tons and tons of options and information that is available in that in the Pinterest analytics. So what I do this every Monday. I go into my analytics and I pull up my top pins on. I search, usually I do the last 7 days. That's the least amount of time that you can pull it up. So I pull up my last 7 days, and then I also pull up to I do the metric, what are my most clicks, like the pins that sent me the most amount of clicks. Now it will pull up, oh gosh, I think it's top 20. I don't know. For sure there's top 10, and you keep scrolling. And all of those, I put those pins back into rotation. Now, when you do that, it took me a while to figure this out. When you do that, you will actually discover that a lot of your top pins sometimes are the same pins. Like you're like, wait, there's 4 of my how to stuff a couch cushion. And at first I was kind of ignoring those pins, and then I realized, oh no, so what's happened is different people have pinned my couch cushion pins, and those pins are all driving traffic back to my blog. So I add all of those. For sure, my top 10, I either repin them or I pop them into Tailwind, which is a scheduler, which we're about to talk. And on Tailwind, people do it different ways. There are loops on Tailwind. So put them back into rotation. I put them back on the Tailwind rotation. So do any of y'all use Tailwind? Raise your hand if you use Tailwind over here. Tailwind is what I'm saying. I don't use Smart Loop. Someone just asked me if I use Smart Loop. I don't use Smart Loop. I use board lists. It's just, for me, it works better, and it's what I've found the best. It just works. It's what works best for me. So what I do is and this is actually my tip 4, which is use a scheduler. So I'm going to kind of combine both of these. So I go to my Pinterest analytics. I search in my Pinterest analytics and find my top 20 pins. Now, most of these, how many times do I post a week? I kind of abide by what Tailwind says, which I think is 50 pins a day. I just go by what their restrictions are because that's kind of what they recommend. And so it's working. That's what's really working for me. So I think at any given time, I have probably 1,000 pins that are scheduled. So I go into Pinterest and I find those pins, and then I pop them in. I take the description, make sure the description, I rewrite it sometimes because sometimes the description from the first original pin is not good. Yeah, at 15.25. So everyone's different. For me over there, I think it's doing 50 a day. I'm not really sure. They lowered that to officially recommending 15 to 25 as a sweet spot. Okay. They're mixed with Hometalk and others. So I actually am in tribes on Tailwind too. And a great tip, a great tribe tip on Tailwind, I'm actually in what we call a pin all tribe, which is very, very, there's just a small little group of us, but we put all of our top pins into this pin all tribe, because when you go into a tribe, wait, hold on, I'm getting out of order here. I'm too excited to tell y'all everything. I'm getting out of order. So let me just finish real fast with like the analytics, because I go back to my analytics, I take those top 20. Sometimes it's just the top 10. It depends on kind of what they are, especially if I see a new pin, like I said, that needs to be babied along, then I'll make sure I pop that right into a board list. So I take the pin, revise the description. Sometimes I search for it on Pinterest to make sure it's SEO'd properly, that the pin description is SEO properly, and I push it back into rotation on Tailwind. So I put it back into one of my board lists that I have over there. And so Pinterest is just Tailwind's keeping on pinning that to Pinterest for me. So that's really, and especially, and those are sending more clicks to my blog. And by doing that, y'all, it's almost like, it's like a miracle, because you just get so much more traffic to your blog doing that. Okay, so now let's hop to Tailwind and really how to use a scheduler effectively. I like board list, a board list. Some people use smart loops and people love them, and no judgment if you use that. For me, I just like knowing what boards it goes to, and and Tailwind, does the same pin show up on a board a million times then? Not typically, because I have on my board list about 10 boards, and I have, oh my gosh, maybe 12, maybe 15, maybe 20 different board lists. I'm not sure exactly how many board lists. So those pins are hopping into different board lists, which have different boards on them. So I think I have over 200 boards. I'm not sure exactly. I have a ton of boards on Pinterest. So I have a lot of boards to work from. And that's why at the very beginning of this, I recommended to y'all that you create some niche boards for yourself. Create some additional boards, because the more places you have to pin your own content, the better. Oh yes, Jennifer, for sure, a replay will be available of this. So for sure. I'm sorry that it's glitching on you. I truly apologize for that. And Jennifer is an amazing Pinterest. She's a Pinterest guru. So I'm sure you could probably chime in with a few tips of your own over here. So, and Jennifer is amazing. If any of y'all know her, she is absolutely incredible. She is a true Pinterest guru for sure. And amazing individual. I follow her on Facebook, and she has some always great tips over there and stuff. So you're amazing, Jennifer, absolutely amazing. And congratulations on all of she's made some amazing life changes, and just lost a whole bunch of weight, and just generally awesome. So you're my girl, you're my heart. And Jennifer actually has a course too, I think, I think you have a course, I'm pretty sure. And she does a whole Pinterest thing. So she's a great resource to check out too. So, oh, she's in her mastermind. Maura's in your mastermind. Awesome. 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 So if anybody has any questions and wants to get on Jennifer, find out more, you can always Facebook message Jennifer, or I'm sure go to her website and email her and find out more, and we can all grow our Pinterest together. She has amazing tips as well. So Jennifer Priest is her name. Yes, Ellen. Okay, so also on Tailwind, I joined tribes over there on Tailwind. And I have that pin all tribe, and I love the pin all tribe because one thing that you want is when you are on a tribe and you are repinning, you want to look at the number in the top right-hand corner. And the bigger the number, that means the more popular the pin is, which means you put that popular pin into your rotation, it will up your overall impressions. So awesome, Courtney. So in this pin all tribe, we all put our most popular pins of the week in the pin all tribe, and then everybody pins everyone else's pins. And that way you are guaranteed super high quality pins that are not your own, that are doing well, and that will truly help you up your impressions over on Pinterest. It's one of the best tips. So you might want to join with some friends and get, it's called a pin all tribe. You can do your version of it, whatever you like, and share your pins all together. And then you know that you have good, high quality pins that you're all sharing together, a pin all tribe. So, okay. And the last tip that I do is in addition to, so let's just review for everyone that if you've joined us late. Number one, we're going to SEO our pins and our boards and our board descriptions. Number two, we are going to create graphics for our pins. Number three, we are going to do a deep dive into our analytics. Number four, we are going to add some sort of scheduler. I personally love Tailwind. It's amazing, and Pinterest loves Tailwind too, so it's a great, great resource. But the last tip that I do is I actually manually pin. And this is when I noticed that my numbers really started jumping. I set my alarm clock on my watch, which I don't have my watch on now, but normally I have my Apple Watch on, and I set my alarm clock to noon. And every day at noon, it says pin manually. I use my phone just because I typically have my phone with me and it's just easy. I have the Pinterest app on my, no, I just pay to use Tailwind. So, I mean, I don't use the free trial of it. I just do it my central time. And you could do it anytime. That's just the time I chose. There's nothing special about noon. It's just the time that I chose. So at noon, my time, central, I literally go over to Pinterest and I look at my analytics on my phone, and I see my top, like I start going through my pins and I can see, and this is where I see some of those Hometalk pins starting to go into rotation. We're about to talk about how to make money from the Hometalk Pinterest program, but the key to really growing that Hometalk is when you see one of those Hometalk pins start to take off, and I've been watching them, I go in there and I manually pin them again. I manually pin my top pin. So every day I am manually pinning my top pins, as well as now I'm pinning some of those Hometalk pins. And I just pull up my analytics, find my top pins, and just pop them into another board. Typically on my phone, at least, Pinterest recommends a board at the top for you to pin them to. So I just pin them to one board, but manually doing that every day, because what's that showing to Pinterest is that, hey, I'm involved. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we've had sessions here on Instagram, we've had sessions on Pinterest, we've had sessions on your blog, we've had sessions on so many different, we've had sessions on Hometalk. And at the end of the day, sometimes, okay, y'all, this is silly what I'm about to tell y'all. But I think of like some of these social media, like they're people, okay? So I kind of have an image in my mind of what Pinterest looks like as a person. And Pinterest is really cute. Like I would totally go to homecoming. I would totally go to homecoming dance with Pinterest. Tall, dark, and handsome. And Pinterest wants to know that you're all about Pinterest. So anything that you can do to demonstrate to Pinterest that you are all about them, i.e. manually pinning, it's like you're honoring what the underlying goal of Pinterest is. And all right, well, Kayla, so you can catch the very last part of it and how to make money at the end. You can catch the replay. Kara will put you can go to the site and watch it. Thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate it. But you want to be all in on Pinterest, and manual pins is a great way to do that, because at the end of the day, Pinterest wishes that we were all manually pinning all the time. But when you're pinning the amount of content that we have, you just cannot do that. You just cannot do that through manual pinning. I mean, I don't have all day to sit there attached to Pinterest. As much as I think he's super cute, I just cannot hang out with him all day. So, but manual pinning is a way to kind of meet the needs of Pinterest, and that's why I make sure that I do it. Also, one last tip before we start talking about money. I also mentioned to y'all in another webinar about my top 100 pins. So I have an entire spreadsheet, excuse me, of my top 100 pins. And on the spreadsheet, I have different tabs, and I make sure that every single one of those top 100 pins has a new Pinterest graphic and that I am adding it into rotation. Another tip too is, so one of the pins, and this was what made me think of it, one of my top 100 is how to turn a roll into a pumpkin. It's like my top seasonal pin. So I start pinning that roll now. Like I'm starting to introduce the pumpkin roll now. So it's the cutest pin. Y'all should totally go check it out. But I took like a Rhodes frozen dough, and you let it rise, and then you cut it and make it look like a pumpkin and put a pecan in the top for the stem. Well, it goes crazy every single year. Well, I noticed something, that if I start putting it into rotation now, like if I start now for the fall, because we're heading into May, then it's already up and roaring by the time that fall rolls around. Because if I start pinning it in September, a lot of times I'll miss a whole bunch of people. But if I start putting it in rotation now, so like I start putting my Christmas pins, like it's July, Christmas in July. I start in July putting Christmas pins in rotation. And that way you've got them all SEO'd, you've got them all ready. They're all ready. So when people start searching, they're already in the queue and set and ready to go. So just one of the biggest mistakes that I made when I first started looking at my pins is I just didn't pin them soon enough. I waited too long to pin them, if that makes sense. So, okay, so if these are some amazing tips, again, let's just repeat, because we want to get to that 500,000 so we can start making money off Pinterest. Number one, you want to SEO your pins, your boards, and your description in your Pinterest account at the top. And also you want to create graphics. That's tip number 2, create graphics for your pin. Number 3, you want to do a deep dive into your Pinterest analytics. Number 4, you want to add a scheduler like Tailwind. Number 5, you want to manually pin to really truly honor the mission of what Pinterest is all about. Deep dive into analytics. Number 4, Kara, is add a scheduler. And number 5, manually pin. If you do what I have discussed here today, I would be shocked, literally shocked, if you did not make it to 500,000 impressions, if you're not already there. Because doing what I'm doing, I mean, it's everything that you need to get found on Pinterest. And the amazing news is, it's not really about the size of your Pinterest account. So I know tons of people that have, 7-8 million impressions, and they have 20,000 followers. It's all about being found on Pinterest. How do you learn to use Tailwind if you're not currently using it? Okay, Tailwind itself has tons and tons of, Tailwind wants to help you. When I first joined Tailwind, I actually scheduled a call. I called Tailwind and said, I don't understand this. It's very confusing to me. And I called them up and I had them set up a little appointment, and she walked me through exactly how to use Tailwind over the phone. And I'm sure that they would do that for you as well. You can, I mean, I do that for everybody. Like if I can't figure something out, I just say, can I call you like old school, remember phones? Like we used to talk on them like this, talk. Actually, I remember a day when phones had cords on them. So like, bam. Okay. So you have Rosie, you got this. You're almost there. I love this. There are a ton of tutorials on how to use, and the Tailwind Facebook page has tons of tutorials. Like it might look a little daunting at first, but once you start using it, is absolutely positively amazing. Okay. So now let's talk about the Hometalk Pinterest program and how it works. And Amy is, of course, on the call. If you want to put your email, if anybody has any questions about this, or if we want to put a link to more information about this Pinterest program, we can add that here, and that way people can do a little bit of research. But the criteria is 500,000 impressions. Now, it's so simple to use. When they told me about it, I said, is this all it is, really? So now, I want to lower your expectations a little bit, because when you first start out with this, just like anything, it's kind of like a startup business. You are not going to make a lot of money initially on this. Now, right now, Hometalk is all about Pinterest. So they are having people create brand new graphics every day. They're doing research to figure out which graphics are the best. So they are doing almost all of the work. So a lot of what we already talked about here, Hometalk is already doing that for you. Once you sign up and you're approved for the program, then Amy will send you a link to, it's basically a dashboard over there. Well, you have your own Pinterest dashboard so you can see how your pins are doing and how much money you're making. But they also send you to a page on the Hometalk site, which has all of the pins available for you. And you can sort them by most popular, you can sort them by subject. You know, if you have a certain topic that is appealing to your audience that you know works really well. But Pinterest has all of the Hometalk has all of the graphics already made for you over there. Amy, for anyone who missed it, there's the Pinterest. And then also Amy, if you want to, I mean, she knows much more about it. I'm just a person that uses it and loves it. And I mean, I'm all for like, let's make some money, you know, especially now with everything going on. It's a great additional, I'm already making all this other money off Hometalk. And now through all the other programs that we talked about, the branded content program, the blogger traffic program, which is sending me tons of page views every month. I know so many people have told me they've been able to get to the next level on Mediavine because they are getting the page views from the blogger traffic program. I mean, y'all, Hometalk, we are, and I say we because I am part of Hometalk, we are bringing it. We are all about you and helping you achieve every single goal that you have. So back to the Hometalk Pinterest program. When you go over there, all you have to do, just find the pins that appeal to you. Now, here's what I did with it. I actually took them and I popped them into a couple of my board lists. And I just went through and I went to the most popular pins and I found pins that I just like appealed to me. And I just thought, I'm going to put all the pins against the wall and see what sticks. So I added tons of those pins into my rotation. And I've been slowly watching to see which pins are taking off. And I had 2 pins that are starting to take off. So back to our analogy of, think of it like we're making bread and we've got our starter. And now I've never actually really done this because I'm not a cook. So but I've seen it. I think I've seen on Facebook where people like feed it. I don't know what you really feed it with. Maybe yeast, maybe more bread. I don't know. But people always have that, you know what I'm talking about, y'all, that starter where they feed it. And then at the end, somehow bread comes out of it. I don't know. These are all, oh, sugar. Okay, they're all right. See, y'all are all laughing at me right now because I literally have no idea. But that's the analogy. You feed it with, thank you, Yvonne. Yvonne is an amazing baker, so of course she knows that. And then it grows. So that's exactly, so she's saying you start with something, yeast maybe, and then you feed flour and water to it and it grows. That's the exact analogy that I want you to think of with these Hometalk pins. I want you to watch them and I want you to see which ones take off, because what pin might work for someone else might not work for you. And if those pins don't work, I want you to add new pins into your rotation. And then what happens is once you feed those pins and they start getting, it will get it from the air, just FYI. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. But once you start feeding those pins, they will grow. And then it almost becomes, once you get those pins up and running, and every time people are clicking through, you get paid, you know, after a certain amount of clicks, then you get paid. And I don't remember exactly off the top of my head how many clicks it is, but you get paid for every certain amount of clicks, then you get paid by Hometalk. But once you have those pins up in rotation that you have babied, just like you'd baby that bread starter, then those pins, you just sit back and let those pins make money for you. It's the hard part is finding the pins that are going to work for you and getting them into rotation. But once you do that, you can sit back and just let that passive income come to you and just repin those pins. It's kind of like what I was talking, the same analogy is the top pins that are on my Pinterest analytics. I'm sitting back and I'm babying those. I'm adding them back on my board list rotations to Tailwind. I'm doing all of that. So that way those pins are driving traffic, which in turn is making me ad revenue and making me money. So that's one way you can make money off. They are pins of Hometalk content that you are pinning. That is correct. these are pins specifically designed by Hometalk, and they have already created the graphic for you with, a lot of times there's an ugly picture, which good, because I'm all into ugly pictures. But sometimes there's beautiful pictures, and you can actually, I think sometimes they create 4 different, so some of them are pretty. So if pretty pins work on your feed, there's a pretty option. Sometimes there's pretty with words. Sometimes there's not a cute photo, and sometimes there's not a cute photo with words. And this is, once you have access to the program, you will find these pins over on the Hometalk Pinterest library. They've done all the work for you, and they figured out what pins are working, because obviously they want this to work for you. They want these pins to truly help you. So you always choose the pretty pins. I know, me too. I'm all about pretty. I am all about pretty. But when I'm making money and the ugly pins, or not ugly, let's say not as attractive, the not as attractive pins are making me so much more money, then sometimes I kind of get about not so attractive. So, you know, it's to each his own. We are all small business owners. We are all running our businesses in our own special way. And so we just want whatever is working for you. So if pretty pins are working for you, like, you go for it. If pretty pins are not working that well for you, you might want to try the not as attractive pins. So you shall try some ugly. All right, Lee Ann, awesome. And just as a recap, we also mentioned this earlier, you can also create pins for your affiliates. You can create pins for your shop your house pages. You can create pins for your shop your favorite pages. You can also create getting people to sign up by email. Those are all ways in addition that you can really work to monetize Pinterest, because those affiliates are literally going, like, when people click on my shop my house, it's one of my most popular pins. So people shop, and there's this whole shop my house page on my blog with all my affiliate pins and everything else. So hi Dina, awesome. I'm so glad you're over here. So okay, shoo, I got it all in. It is 11:58. Y'all, that was an hour. We just spent an hour together. And so I cannot thank you enough for just taking a moment. I know everyone is so busy and has so many things and challenges right now. And I just cannot thank you for the gift of your time today that you spent with us. And I just, before we close, as always, I just want to give you a little bit of encouragement, because we are all facing challenges right now. And this is an extraordinarily challenging time, probably the likes of which we've never seen before, and we're probably never going to see again. But in the middle of this, there are bright spots. There are companies like Hometalk who want to come alongside you and help you grow your blogs and help you grow your Pinterest. And just know that Hometalk is here for you, and I am here for you. We are here to help in any way that we can. I don't know if y'all saw, but we have office hours every Monday from 10 to 2, and I have spoken to so many of you, and we are going to go ahead and continue that. So if you guys, Kara, I think, is maybe going to send out another email with slots to sign up. We're booked for a couple of weeks, but I would love to speak with you one-on-one. If you have a question and you want to email me, you can email me at thistlewoodfarms@yahoo.com, and I will answer with anything that any answer I have is yours. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. You guys are absolutely, positively amazing, and you are a gift to me. So go forth and have a day as amazing as you are.